Let's talk about standing posture and how to stand well, recruiting your core muscles. So if we think about our feet first, and we'll scan our body all the way up. So if you want to stand up and do this with me. So make sure your feet are hip distance apart, first of all. So we don't want to be standing with wide leg or even narrow feet. So just think about feet to hip distance apart. And then I want you just to sway your body forwards and back, and then also side to side. So I just want you to become aware of where you're standing through your foot. So we want to be stood in the center of our foot. So where you've got your arch and your instep, that is the center of gravity. So you should feel that you've got equal weight throughout the toes, throughout the outer part, throughout the heel. You're obviously not going to feel that inner part in contact with the ground because of your arch and your instep, but you should feel like your weight is distributed equally throughout the whole of the foot. Now, it's quite common for people to be back on their heels when they're standing, or even onto their toes. So just being mindful of that first of all. And then as we go up to our knees, your knees shouldn't be hyperextended. You shouldn't feel like your knees are being forced backwards. You should have soft knees. So they're not bent as such, but they're soft, okay? So they're not in hyperextension. And then when we come to the pelvis, so if I just turn to the side for you, with the pelvis and the pelvic tilt, so if you think about that forward and backwards tilt, so anterior tilt of the pelvis where your lumbar spine curvature is greater, and then posterior tilt of the pelvis where you then have a curvature going the other way in your lower back. And you want the pelvis to be resting in neutral. So it's not tilted forwards and it's not tilted backwards. So it's in a neutral position with a gentle curvature in the lower back. And if you're unsure on how to recruit that, just maybe think about tucking your tailbone underneath you. So as you tuck your tailbone underneath you, you'll feel like your glutes are engaging slightly and your lower abdominals are engaging slightly. So with the tuck of the tailbone, and then thinking about midfoot pressure through your feet, if you now push down through your feet, so imagine you've got a bunch of grapes under each foot and you're squashing the grapes into the floor. So as you push down equally, you'll feel your leg muscles engage and you'll feel your lower abdominal and your glutes slightly engage. So you're not really, pressing down hard, but you just imagine that you're gently squashing that grape into the floor. So all of a sudden now, you're now engaged through the waist down. So you should feel the fronts of your legs and the backs of your legs all engage from the waist down. So now we know that we're using those muscles to hold you upright. So when we're thinking about then our rib cage and our shoulders, we shouldn't be holding ourselves tense. So if we look at our rib cage, if you elevate your rib cage because you're thinking good posture is shoulders back and this rib cage comes up, you're actually engaging your back extensors and that will create a tilt of your pelvis. And you're going to have too much of a lordosis, a curvature in your spine. So the top part of your chest should just be relaxed, and then the shoulder blades squeezed back, but not all the way. So you want your shoulders in alignment. So as you look from the side, your shoulder, your hip, your knee, and your ankle is in a straight line. You could draw a straight line between all of those. And then your head, imagine that you've got a helium balloon on top of your head. That helium balloon is lifting you up towards the ceiling or towards the sky, and your head is on top of your spine rather than the chin coming forward. So when we spend a lot of time at a desk or, looking at our phones, we can end up with the chin coming forwards and even the shoulders being rounded. So you want to try and have your chest in neutral, your shoulders are back and down, and your head, you're feeling this elongation through the back of the neck and lifting upwards through the center of your head there. But the mistake that a lot of people make is they have shoulders back and they're squeezing, So the best way to think about it is in between your shoulder blades, you have an orange. Now you want to balance that orange so it doesn't fall on the floor, but you don't want to squeeze the orange and get juice out. So it's a gentle drawing back and down of the shoulder blades, not a real squeeze where you're then going to elevate your chest. So as you stand in this good posture, you should now feel like your leg muscles is what's holding you upright. You're not being held upright through your back muscles. So they should be relaxed. Back and shoulders are more relaxed. From the waist down, you should feel you're recruiting the muscles around here. So if you practice this posture, what you'll find is those muscles will naturally strengthen because you're using them every day. So without going to the gym and doing a load of planks, you'll be strengthening those muscles in everyday movement. So saves you time. It's just all about knowing how to do it.